Okay guys, in this video we're just going to dive in and see how much recording time we can expect when we're using a Samsung T5 SSD and shooting on the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K. So right away, let's just go in here, and as you can see, I have two drives in there. I have a CFast card and then I have the T5 drive. So T5 drive is a 1 terabyte SSD, and the CFast card is a SanDisk CFast card, and it's 128 gigabytes. So as you can see here, we get 7 minutes of recording when I am in this recording option. So this is Blackmagic RAW at 3:1 compression, and actually I want to see what the numbers are for 6K, because I would be shooting in 6K. I buy the 6K camera to shoot 6K. That kind of makes sense. All right, so again, Blackmagic RAW, constant bitrate, 3:1 compression, 6K. So this is 6K full frame, right? So now let me back out of here and go, and here we can see on the 1 terabyte SSD, we're getting 64 minutes. So let me back out. If I went 5:1 full frame, I'm now getting 107 minutes on 1 terabyte. That actually is really good for me. Okay, so if I did 8:1, now let's see how much time we can actually record, and we got 171 minutes. So that's well over 2 hours of solid record time. This is actually really good news for the 1 terabyte users, right? At least in my opinion. 12:1, which is something else that lots of people are comfortable shooting in. And if you're delivering to the web, 12:1 is more than acceptable. 12:1 gives us 257 minutes worth of recording time at full frame 6K. That's actually, again, really powerful, really good. Now, let me see if it makes any difference here. So now I'm going to do 6K 241. Again, 12:1. I'm just going to go backwards here. 12:1, and that gives me 346 minutes worth of record time. Again, pretty good for 1 terabyte. These things are so affordable. It's like it's hard to go wrong with them. If I did 8:1, of course my time's going to begin to drop here, but it's 231 minutes. Moving along, 5:1, and I have 144 minutes. So that's still over 2 hours worth of record time. Pretty good. So let's go back. Let's do 3:1. And now we can select constant bitrate or constant quality. I'm going to select constant bitrate. I'm not sure if it'll actually make a difference or not, but this is more than an hour's worth of recording, so that's 86 minutes. And this is, again, for me, really, really nice. 3:1 compression is really good. Let's see if it changes here. It's still 86 minutes. So it doesn't matter if I'm constant quality or constant bitrate. I'm still at 86 minutes. Cool. Let's move this along. If I was doing, I'm going to skip anamorphic because I don't shoot anamorphic. And most people that are buying this camera cannot afford an actual anamorphic lens. Like me, I can't afford a real anamorphic lens. This is why I don't shoot anamorphic. So let's take a look at 2.8K 17:9. So this is the option that would allow us to shoot in slow motion. We get 309 minutes. So if I do off speed and I bring this up to 120, I'm curious if it's going to drop my time. Whoops, there we go. 120, we get 62 minutes at that 4.7K slow motion at 120 frames per second. And if I just did regular old 60, $124 minutes. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go back to, record. I'm going to do Blackmagic in full frame. Oops. And I'm going to, it does let me do it at 50 frames per second. So let's see what the record time. So if I'm recording 6K full frame out of the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K, I only get 30 minutes for every 1 terabyte of data. So that's actually really handy and good to know, because most of the off-speed stuff that I do shoot is at 60 frames, or 60, because we're in the United States. I'm in the United States. But that's actually really, really good to know. And I didn't know this because I've had the camera for about a month. And I didn't know this because I've had the camera for a little bit under 2 weeks at this point. Okay, so let's move this along and go back. So if we do 5K, which we can still shoot in Blackmagic RAW, 17:9, and there are different flavors here. And 5K, we get 37 minutes. Oh, this is because my frame rate is at 50. So I'm going to turn that off. It's to allow me to stay within 24 frames per second. And then I'm going to check, and sure enough, if I'm shooting at 24, then I get 78 minutes on 1 terabyte when shooting at 5K. Now, and that's 3:1, right? So 5K 3:1. If I do 5K 5:1, I get 131 minutes. And if I do 5K, again, Blackmagic RAW 5K or 5.7K, 8:1, I get 209 minutes worth of record time on 1 terabyte. And if I did 12:1, again, for the web, this is actually totally okay. This is 313 minutes on 1 terabyte of data. Again, really good. Let's move this along now. So those are my options when shooting in Blackmagic RAW on this Pocket 6K. If I go ProRes, my options change. I can shoot 4K DCI, Ultra HD, or plain old HD. I'm only going to show the 4K DCI for this 1 terabyte drive because, again, I bought the 6K, Pocket 6K, to shoot in 6K. And if I ever needed to shoot in just 4K, I would, but I don't see myself shooting in HD on the 6K camera. I have other cameras to do that with. So with that out of the way, it's ProRes HQ, highest quality, right? And if I show, I get 175 minutes worth of record time. So that's actually really, really good if needed, like maybe for an event shooter or something like that. If I did 422, which is, again, for the web, overkill, HQ and 422 are both overkill for web delivery. But they do give you a lot of flexibility in post, and they treat gradients really, really well. This is 263 minutes on 1 terabyte when shooting in 4K DCI on the Pocket 6K. So if I did LT, which I'm not sure who would shoot in LT or what the reasoning would be, but maybe you're doing like a live production and you want to have a higher quality recording for upload, after the event is over and done with. That might be a good reason to shoot LT. And here we are, 375 minutes 4K LT out of the Pocket 6K. Cool. Proxy, not sure why I would ever shoot proxy. This camera, the Pocket 6K, for sure can serve as an A cam. But just because the option's there, it's 848 minutes on 1 terabyte when shooting ProRes 4K on this camera. Ultra HD and HD, again, HD is like, why would I do this? But just to show you, you got, if you're shooting in HD, 1 terabyte, 3,443 minutes worth of record time on one on 1 terabyte on the Pocket 6K. But again, why would you shoot HD on a 6K camera? So that will wrap it up for this video. Just wanted to show a quick, essentially how much time can we get. This is going to be the way that I shoot all the time on this Pocket 6K camera. Blackmagic RAW, constant bitrate, 3:1 compression, 6K full frame, because I will use this for web delivery and then also mastering archives and creating DVDs for my clients, or creating other digital assets or files for training and other things like that. So I, for my purposes, am only going to get roughly an hour for every 1 terabyte when shooting full frame 6K on this camera. And I'm actually okay with that, because this is still much more efficient than when I shoot the same types of projects on my Red at 8K. So this is more efficient, and it's also much more affordable, which allows me to save the client money as well as myself to make a little bit more money on those projects. So hopefully you guys enjoy the content. If you do, be sure to let me know. And until next time, I'm Carlos, and I'll catch you guys later.